Gracias. Bienvenidos a todos a esta sección, la última del Congreso que tengo el honor de moderar. Mi nombre es Madalena Oliveira, vengo de la Universidad de Minho en el norte de Portugal, lo que significa que no soy hablante fluente ni de castellano ni de inglés y que probablemente voy a dificultar un poco el trabajo de los traductores. Como tenemos una gran diversidad de nacionalidades en esta sección, yo de Portugal, pero también participantes de Francia, Estados Unidos, Chile y España, con el apoyo de los intérpretes, creo que mezclaremos entre los dos idiomas. Pero como la ponencia inicial será en inglés, me permitirán que cambie ahora al inglés para presentar la sesión y la ponente. As you know, this session is about the future of radio within cars. Radio has been the primary in-car information and entertainment medium for decades. On the other hand, the prime time of radio audiences has historically coincided with driving time, the day part in which radio broadcasters can reach the most people who listen to car radios while driving, usually to and from work. However, the proliferation of platforms and new in-car connectivity may threaten the radio monopoly. I think this will be the biggest challenge we will have for this session. We will start with Justine Gerard, with an academic background in entrepreneurship and management. Justine Gerard worked for Faber Novel, advising several companies on digital strategy. In 2018, she joined the Radio France team, where her mission is to design and develop new ways of listening to the radio in voice assistants and connected cars. She is also in charge of content distribution for this French radio company, with almost 15 million daily listeners, 7 national stations, and 44 local radio broadcasters. Within Radio France, Justine Gerard is responsible for the digital strategy to strengthen the company's presence in the digital world. Audio and video platforms, social networks, connected cars, voice assistants, smart speakers, and connected TV. Justine, thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Hablo español, pero voy a hacer la presentación en inglés porque es más fácil, lo siento. All about our strategy around cars consists in being fast and curious. So this is why we gave this title to the presentation. That's not really the kind of movie I like, but why not? And it's a good figure of speech. Radio France, who are we? We are the French Public Radio. We have 7 radio stations. We gather 15 million daily listeners. We are the second largest podcast producer in the world. France Inter is the first French radio, and now France Info is the second one. We account for 50% of podcast listening in France. We have 80 radio streams and 3 million podcast episodes that are entirely free. Fast and curious, okay, but why? The car is still the primary place to listen to the radio in France. 23 million people listen to the radio between Monday to Friday inside their car. It's 3 million more compared to home. Home is the place where they listen longer, but car is the place where they listen more frequently. Radio in cars is still a must-have. People expect to have an immediate access to radio. 90% of car buyers say that radio is important for their next vehicle, and 80% would be much less interested in buying a car if it did not have a radio. A few years ago, Tesla had decided to remove FM listening from their car They very fastly rolled back when they received a huge amount of criticism from customers. Car buyers still consider the radio as a good of first necessity. In France, inside their car, 70% of the time, people choose radio as an audio source. But new passengers arrive. People still listen to the radio, live radios or internet radios, but they also listen to music, podcasts, audiobooks. And now, with electric vehicles charging times, they start to watch videos. So that's why they start to appear on this kind of charts. How is it possible? How come? Now, connected cars are smartphones on wheels. This is the exact same logic. There's a store of application available, pre-installed apps, the possibility to connect to the user account for a continuous experience. So radio is no longer the queen in her kingdom. A wide range of actors can come on board, streaming services, video platforms. We are being challenged. We also have new interfaces. The dashboard, of course, your smartphone, but also voice assistants. When you drive, your visual attention is limited. Using your voice to launch a media is a huge quick win. Now, powered by artificial intelligence, voice commands might become more and more powerful. All car makers have to onboard a voice assistant. Sometimes they even onboard two, such as Renault with Renault and Google Assistant. And Jean-François, who is connected, will talk about it far better. We have to be fast and curious because we are in an evolving market. In the next 10 years, in Europe, almost every new car sold will be electric. So infotainment will be important to cover charging times. Charging times are a huge pain point, and car makers need to find solutions to make those moments less painful and maybe even enjoy this moment. Cars will also be highly connected. So any kind of infotainment you can find on your smartphone will be available in a few years. Automated driving will still remain small, around 7% of cars. So the visual attention will still be highly focused on the road, which is good news for audio. Audio still has many years ahead, but the rules of the games are changing and we need to adapt. How do we adapt? We do our best to be good everywhere. Just a quick recap of the different interfaces available inside cars before diving in. First, a lot of people use their smartphone as a primary screen inside their car. That's what we call the car mode. We'll also have the mirroring with Android Auto and CarPlay. We have dashboards, we have voice assistants. And finally, you can also listen to the radio through hybrid radio. It's the old radio button that becomes more powerful. This technology consists in providing the best audio experience, plugging you to the best connectivity flow, IP, FM, or DAB. The advantage is that there are less and less blackouts. With limited resources, the difficulty is to be on all fronts, and that's what we do with my team. So we try to do our best to be good everywhere. The car mode, that's when drivers look at their smartphone. They follow a route on their GPS, put music on it. Some actors have created dedicated user experiences, especially for drivers. The user experience becomes very basic, very minimalist. This is not where we are the most performing at Radio France, but it's a high priority when looking at the market. We see two big segments. The first one, cars that are older than 5 years and not equipped with mirroring. In France, the average age of a car on the roads is 12 years old. So this is the vast majority of the market. The second one, new small city cars, very low tech, where the smartphone becomes the dashboard. In both situations, the smartphone is the dashboard, and we have to keep it in mind when we redesign the mobile applications or decide to make evolutions. The Radio France application has been compatible with Android Auto and CarPlay for 7 years now, and it's constantly evolving. You can listen to our radios, the selection of podcasts, and have access to the user library. Almost 10% of our mobile application users use the CarPlay or Android Auto version today. We have invested time on voice assistants. Our content is available on Alexa, Google Assistant, and Siri. You can ask for a specific radio, a podcast, or the latest news. And this is inside the cars where most people are the most willing to use voice commands. There is an obvious value and usage, and I think everybody here in the panel sees the future of voice inside cars. Cars makers such as Renault, with Jean-François, who is also connected, are investing in the onboard user experience. Renault has chosen to work with Google for their new generation of vehicle, and it really becomes a high-end smartphone on wheels. We are working together with Renault to provide the best user experience. Our Radio France application will be focused on personalization, which will be enabled by the connection to the user account. Based on an extensive benchmark, user data, prototype testing, market studies, and with Renault's input, we have defined the main pillars of the user experience. Editorial selections for Renault, news with national and local news briefing. We also focus on music with 30 web radios, from French songs to metal, opera, or hip-hop. Kids, we have a rich native collection for all ages, and also long stories, mostly based on history, portraits of famous people for long journeys. The partnership is really recent and has been announced last month during the Paris Motor Show, when Renault unveiled the new Renault 4. A few data shared by George on hybrid radio. George, if you want to add something, don't hesitate. Here we have the daily activity hour by hour during the US election. FIP is one of our music radio, the most famous one. And you can see that in the morning, people listened less to music and after work wanted to decompress and listen to FIP more than usual. France Info is our 24/7 news radio station. We see that during very intense news weeks, such as the American election, we gain market shares. Listening to news is always a strong habit. Listening to music is also one. We have all the assets to cover the user needs. The fact that cars become connected is also an opportunity to collect this data, respecting the GDPR, of course, and understand better the behavior. I gave you a few examples of partnerships, but we work with a wide range of actors to try to be present on every environment. We work with Radio Player, which was present during the previous session with Laurence, with Xperi, Renault, Google, Amazon, Radioline. We also work with Forestia and Harman, who provide stores of application for car makers. We have an holistic approach. Oh, sorry, I did not change the slide accordingly, but you can see all the partners. And what now? If it can help radio people in this room, a few tips. You have to convince your organization that working today for a product that will go live in 5 years is the smartest thing to do, and this is a challenge. Create a full stack team who is in charge of the car topic, from product to marketing and innovation. It should be several people's priority and written in their yearly objectives, which has been the case for the past years at Radio France, and I saw a big change also in behavior. And create a strong relationship with the ecosystem. You cannot just work alone and publish your application on a store of application as a good student. You have to be at the center of this complex ecosystem. It's time consuming, but it's really fascinating. And that's all for me.